100% of this is available for expungement. And I am finding, based upon the information that I have about your past and your character, as well as the gravity of the offenses here, that you are not eligible for the challenge incarceration program or the substance abuse program. You may not have any firearms, as you are now a convicted felon. Violation of that is punishable by a fine of up to $25,000 and a 10-year period of imprisonment. You cannot vote until your civil rights are restored, and you will not be allowed to possess body armor at any time. If those no contact orders are ordered at the restitution hearing as part of your sentence, that any violation of that will be punishable by a $10,000 fine and a 9-month period of confinement. You do have the right to appeal my sentence, and your attorney will go through those rights with you. I do recognize that you did accept responsibility for this. I agree with the sentiments that were expressed by Mr. Oplin-Dobbs, that you have never been even one bit difficult throughout this process. You have always been polite and respectful with the court. I appreciate that. And it was very clear to me from as soon as Mr. Oplin-Dobbs that this has never wavered in your mind from an acceptance of responsibility and moving forward with this, that you were never going to challenge it or put the family through a trial. But I think that that acceptance was reflected in the reduction of, have come to understand any reason that you did this. And that makes me believe that there's no way to be sure that you would not do it again. So for protection of the community purposes, I can't do anything but guarantee that you will not have an opportunity for that. And I see you shaking your head. I think you agree. Not to put words in your mouth, but I'm hopeful that your 3.5-year-old grandson is able to bring a spark of joy to this family, as a 3.5-year-old will. As he watched movies with you that morning, not understanding what had happened, and that he's able to process that, but to remind the family of everything that it is still good. So the sentence of the court on count 1 will be 60 years in the Wisconsin State Prison, 40 years initial confinement, and 20 years extended supervision. On count 2, 60 years in the Wisconsin State Prison, 40 years initial confinement, 20 years extended supervision. On count 3, 60 years in the Wisconsin State Prison, 40 years initial confinement, and 20 years extended supervision. On count 4, 60 years in the Wisconsin State Prison, 40 years initial confinement, 20 years extended supervision. On count 5, 60 years in the Wisconsin State Prison, 40 years initial confinement, 20 years extended supervision. And on count 6, which was the felon in possession of a firearm, 10 years in the Wisconsin State Prison, 5 years initial confinement, and 5 years extended supervision. Those sentences will all run consecutive to one another and consecutive to your revocation. So you will have 91 days sentence credit that will apply to count 1. My wish for this entire family and for you, Mr. Stokes, is for peace. Thank you all.
Next court date will be September 2nd at 3 o'clock for a restitution hearing. That will be before Judge Havas, Branch 10. Thank you.